Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie K. Cooper here with,
To the intern. Hello, everyone.
and it is Tell All Tuesday.
It is.
And finally, we can tell all about the Mercer Authors Luncheon.
Right.
Because you and Cody,
Yes.
and me and my wife Terry went in the same car. Cody drove. It was just.
It was a good time.
But the funny thing right from the start is I think you were just completely, I don't know what the right word is, about living in Atlanta, the traffic and everything. She kept saying, I'd never live in Atlanta.
You will never catch me living in Atlanta. The traffic there is enough to make all my hair fall out.
It was
I can't
traffic.
do it.
It was a Saturday at
Can't do it.
like 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was like madness.
Yes.
And Cody just maneuvered really great.
He did do a really good job. Good job, Cody, if you're watching.
But it's a madhouse.
Yeah.
And then when we left, we got through around 2 o'clock to head back, and it was still
a madhouse.
A madhouse.
Yes.
So but it was at the Intercontinental.
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
What was your first impression when we went in?
It was a lot of moving parts. There was a lot going on. There was a very nice pianist playing.
Yes, good music.
Very good music. You had all the authors lining the room with their books ready to sign, and in the middle of the room you had other Mercer author books.
I included.
Jackie was there. Who weren't signing. They were just out for anybody to buy. And it was a very nice welcome.
And I was trying to think, how many people would you say were there?
Oh, gosh.
200 or 300?
Yeah, probably.
Because that ballroom where we ate the luncheon, it was packed.
It was packed. Every table was filled. And I finally got to meet the lovely people behind Mercer University Press.
And they are lovely.
They are very lovely. If you're watching, hello.
You know, Jenny Toole, Mirabeth Kowalski, Marsha Luttrell, Mark Jolly, Mark's wife Susie was there. And there is a new person at Mercer, and I don't know, and I don't think I met her this time, and I've got to correct that.
We'll have to meet her.
And then they had two guys who were helping out, because I don't know how they transport all those books up there, and get everything set up at the tables, etc.
It has to be a whole big ordeal.
But there were a lot of authors there, but we did get to go around, and we got a chance to speak with William Rawlings.
Yes.
Who had the book about the stocking...
The Columbus Stocking Strangler?
The Columbus Serial Stocking Strangler. Yeah.
Some version of that.
And he was one of the three speakers for the day.
Right.
And I've been knowing William for ages, and he's a super nice guy. He writes novels, he writes true crime, he writes historical information books, and he filled in. They found out like 2 or 3 days prior to the luncheon that one of the people who were supposed to be there, be one of the speakers, came down, I think it was COVID.
Yeah.
And so they asked William to fill in. And
he did fantastic.
When you sit there and listen to him, you would have thought he'd been practicing for months.
Yeah.
But he jumped right in and was great. And then also there was a children's author named Carmen Agradidi. And I had met Carmen 10, 15 years ago, and I thought, this woman will never remember who I am, but I remember who she was. So, Jackie,
she's very kind.
Just, sweetest person. I mean, just wonderful.
Yes.
And she's a great writer of children's books, and, this one was about a wombat was the main character.
She's very nice.
And then Jonathan Scott Barrett.
Yes.
I've been knowing Johnson forever, and you come up with his name.
Right off the.
But he writes cookbooks.
Yes.
And he also interweaves stories about his personal life in and out. And Jonathan, I think this is, I don't know how many cookbooks he's written, but he's great. And one of these days I'm gonna have Jonathan cook me a meal. I bet he can.
I bet he sure can.
Oh my gosh. It would be, and he and Mary Kay Andrews have a connection somehow, but he has the recipes and he piles them in his books, and but those were the main three that I'm friends with that I wanted to see, and then Carolyn Curry was there, and Cody got to meet Carolyn's husband, Bill Curry, who
Bill
we
Curry.
now know is a former Georgia Tech coach.
And Alabama, I think.
Oh, really?
I think I may be wrong.
Oh.
Please don't bully me in the comments.
She said that because I don't know.
I believe
I
he
just
was
know
wearing
Georgia
his Super Bowl ring because he played in what I believe was the very first Super Bowl and won. And I think he was the former coach at Alabama, if not the head coach, and
Georgia Tech.
And was there one more?
I don't know.
Georgia
Tech. I was just, the people I knew said, oh yeah, he was a legendary coach at Georgia Tech. So that was as far as I got.
Okay. Well, I'll have to ask Cody later. He can tell me.
And then John Pruitt was there. When I first started living in Georgia, we could get WSB, which was the channel out of Atlanta, and he was the news anchor. And his co-anchor was Monica Kaufman, who was also there. I saw her in the crowd. I was thinking you didn't get a chance to meet everybody. But
I didn't.
There were all these.
Next time.
Senator Sam Nunn was there. I never got a chance. Robert McDuffie, the violinist, was there. Katie Couric, who was the main speaker, was there.
Speaker,
yeah.
She did a fantastic job.
And John Pruitt did a good job.
Yes.
He taught about his book, and then Katie Couric was the main speaker. And she started talking about that her daddy was born in Dublin, Georgia, that he went to Mercer, he worked at the Macon Telegraph, and he worked at the Atlanta Journal, and she really, explained all of her Georgia roots, which I thought was a great way to do all this.
Yes.
But we got to walk around. That was one thing that was a problem, is there were no chairs where you could sit down.
That's right.
They were few and far between. And Terry said I looked like I was going to fall down the wall. I was leaning up against the wall.
You eventually found a chair, though.
It was time. I mean, I was tired. And I sat down, and Terry found some seats. And this woman sat down next to me, and she said, whoever organized this was not an old person.
It was a young person?
She said, because an old person would know, put some chairs out.
Yeah.
And she said, young people think, they don't need chairs.
They don't need chairs.
But I'm telling you, I had made the circle, and I was like,
you're ready to sit down.
Oh my gosh, I am so tired.
Yep.
And then we just didn't have that long. But then we went in for the luncheon, and the food was great.
Food was fantastic.
But I'm sitting there eating this food. It was chicken, and it was delicious, and I had eaten about half of it. Was looking forward to the second half. And my friend Marlon Probst came over to talk to me, and she bent down next to my chair, and I turned to look at him. The guy came up and he said, are you through? And I said, no, I'm not through. He said, okay, and he backed off. And I turned back to Mom. She told me some story and everything. And I turned back. My plate was gone.
Gone. Didn't even get to finish your chicken.
Did not get to finish my chicken.
It
and
was
that
delicious,
good chicken.
too. It sure was. That's so tragic. I hate that for you.
I did, too.
Hate that for you.
I
enjoyed mine.
Terry enjoyed hers. But it did. But then, this is such a funny story to me. I had been looking for my friend Janelle Jennings. Janelle's from Hawkinsville, and Janelle goes to the Mercer Authors Luncheon every year. And she had told me she was going to be there, and I hadn't spotted her. I kept looking for her. We were outside, walking around, didn't see Janelle. Finally, I saw somebody who knows her, and I said, is Janelle here? And they said, yes, she's here. And I thought, where is she? And so we're sitting there, we've eaten our meal, we're listening to these wonderful speakers, and suddenly I looked, the crowd parted, and there was Janelle at one of the front tables, of course. And I thought, okay, she's right down there. As soon as this thing is over, I've got to go see her. So it ended, and I got my cane.
Got your cane.
Making my way through all these tables, trying not to fall over. And Janelle's standing there, and she's got her back to me. You've heard this story, so.
Oh, yes.
But
ready to hear it again.
Yeah. But she's got her back to me, and I kind of tap her on the shoulder, and she turns around and she goes, oh, Jackie, Janelle, glad to see you. And then she turns back to who she was talking to, who was Katie Couric. And Janelle said, oh, Katie, of course, you know Jackie Cooper.
Of course. course.
Of course.
Of course.
And Katie Couric, I want to get the camera to get this. Katie Couric is like
Slightly confused look.
like
Briefly.
who? You can see the Rolodex going in her head. You know, where is Jackie Cooper? Why am I supposed to know him? And she said, "Oh yes," and I'm going. And then she just covered it beautifully. She said, "How have you been doing? How are things going?" I mean, like we were friends, etc. But Janelle just knows everybody, and she assumes everybody knows everybody.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't.
But she made you feel like she knew you for a while.
It did. It was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It really was. And, you know, she was, to me, just like she is on TV. She looked like she does on TV. She talked like she does. It was one of those things where you meet the person, you've got her in mind, her celebrity status, and she lived up to all the expectations.
Yeah. She was great.
Yeah. And then as I was coming out, I ran into Robert McDuffie, who is a friend of Janelle's, and he's the premier violinist in the world, I think. He's just fantastic, and he has a school of strings at Mercer University. And then Rhonda Rich, who is a columnist. She was in the red dress.
Yes.
And had a nice conversation with her. It was just a great
time. A good reunion, I feel like, for you.
It was.
You were seeing a lot of people that you hadn't seen in a while.
I wrote Marcia marked one of them after it was up, and I said it was the best Mercer Authors Luncheon ever.
Yes, it was a good time.
Everybody lived up to
all around
all my expectations,
right.
And I was so glad that you got to see it.
Yeah, it was very, very fun getting to be a part of that and getting to, like I said, finally meet the people behind Mercer University Press. They were lovely people, as I said, and it was even more special that I got to meet some of the authors. So It was a fun time.
And Amber was just like, oh, this is just everyday thing.
Everyday thing. She used to it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Let's go meet William Ross. Oh,
well, let's just do this.
Sure.
Let's do this.
You want to go meet Jonathan Scott Barrett? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, I can talk to her.
Well, hi, Katie.
Hey, Katie. How you doing?
But it was a grand day.
It was.
And I'm glad we got to share it.
Me too.
It was just wonderful fun.
Yes.
But that's our Tell All Tuesday. I'm Jackie K. Cooper here with
AJ the intern.